Laka to Hades, the reformer of hooker whores, and the bronze god, the one, the only, the legendary Chris. Hey!
All right. Good afternoon to the good people. Good afternoon to the bad people, friends and enemies. And a good afternoon and hearty boom shakalaka to you all. I am Chris Base. This is BaseLine. We congregate every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Pacific time on the West Coast time. Always wanting you to be well where you are. Let's see. Venture out to the comment section already. How you doing, Sick? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to one Sick Diggy. How you doing, brother? Thank you for being here. How's everything in your world? How you doing? Omar says, happy Friday, Chris. What a great day today. Hey, you know how it is. All folks say any day above ground is a new day, is a good day at that. So yes, we'll take what we can get. Absolutely. Well, shout out to my man Wise All as we have this show here. Connected to Real Wise Radio. Thank you, brother, as always, for having this program on. Sick. Okay, usually it's Omar, but Sick beat to the punch here. Nice T-shirt. Thank you very much. Of course, this is the master right there, Bruce Lee. You see his face right there, and yeah, I've always been a fan of Bruce Lee since I was a kid. One of my childhood idols of all time. Let's see. Six says I'm doing good. It's the first of the month. I'm glad that it's Friday. Yes, absolutely. Entering a new month here in August. Only one rule that I have here on BaseLine is a time-honored tradition. No peep freaks. A hashtag PEEPFREAKS. Make my peep a peep freak. No, we shan't. So peep freaks are people again who marvel at me, and I do take kindly to that. It's very kind of them to marvel at what I do, me myself being the bronze god. But sometimes get out of hand. You know, they kiss my hand, my shoulders, and stuff like that. It gets kind of freaky, and I don't really care for that. And even my kneecaps. So I'm like, no, stop doing that. Brush your mouth off, and you'll be just fine. I know I'm the bronze god, but no need for all that. And sometimes they stick and stay, or they go about their merry way. So have at it the way you want to. Omar says, I was about to say that I'm a Bruce Lee fan too. Nice shirt. Thank you, Omar. Once again, thank you, Sick, for the comment on the shirt. Someone like Bruce Lee was just, I say, otherworldly for me. I fell in love with the man first time I saw him. There was nothing like him on screen. As a avid martial arts fan myself, I did take karate at one point when I was a kid and kung fu. It was nice to just have that hero. Of course, he paved the way for all these people that came after him. You know, of course, Jackie Chan and Jet Li comes to mind, and Danny Chen. I mean, they're just dynamic what they do. Even someone like Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris got his breakthrough Bruce Lee being in The Way of the Dragon. And it still gives me chills watching the scene where they're the old Coliseum ruins and they're fighting against each other. And at the time, I do believe that Chuck Norris was an American champion in karate. So yeah, he had a few people in there, European champion and Bob Wall, and a gentleman name escaped me who was the Korean champion. So he had like real time champions in The Way of the Dragon, which is again a fantastic movie. That movie was when he starred, wrote, and produced that movie, The Way of the Dragon. It was still, I mean, he only did 5 movies. This what gets me about, you look at his body of work. The 5 movies he did was some of the five strongest works I've ever seen. I go by the original title. So it's The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, and then The Game of Death. Those 5. Very strong. Let's see. Let's not forget about your deep voice. It does command a level of attention and respect. Thank you, Sig. I appreciate that. That was I said before, this wasn't overnight with the voice, man. I'm telling you, I had a lot of literally growing pains with that. Sick Lee versus Norris was a great battle. It was epic, epic. It still holds up right now after many of those years ago. Let's not forget the battles with Jim Kelly as well as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, he, meaning Lee, did not have a battle scene with Jim Kelly. That was in the Enter the Dragon. But what was interesting was both men had talked off screen and wanted to do a movie with them starring in it. I'm sorry that it never manifested because in Enter the Dragon, as I read online, so you watch Enter the Dragon, the John Saxon character, the American character, John Saxon was thrown in there. And John Saxon, don't get me wrong, I mean, he couldn't even bust a grape in a fruit fight, but they had him in there because that was part of the deal to have an American star in this movie. So you got to deal with these people in Hollywood. So it was supposed to be his character, meaning the John Saxon character was supposed to be killed off, and then you would have seen Jim Kelly and Bruce Lee fight side by side at the finale towards the end. But they didn't want that, so they wanted the black man. It was a black man, catching hell. So Jim Kelly's character was killed off in the movie, and then Bruce Lee fought alongside John Saxon, which, again, politics. You forgot the Chinese Connection movie Bruce Lee did. No, I just mentioned that. As I said before, I go by the original titles. You're right, the Chinese Connection. The original title was Fist of Fury. So no, original titles. So yes, they have overseas titles, but I like the original titles because it fit to me. Not saying the other ones did, but overseas always change the name in some way, shape, or form, or altogether. So again, going by his legacy for his first movie to the end, yeah, that was a great body of work. So yeah, I did mention that. So the Chinese Connection you're referring to, Omar, was originally called Fist of Fury. That was the original title for it. How you doing, Tom Treadwell? But luckily, the baseline won't be impacted by the shutdown of Corporation for Public Broadcast. How you doing, Tom? Well, thank you. I got to get you on the show. Now I know what your schedule is for CBI quiz-based interviews. How do I reach out to you? Could you do me a favor and DM me in Messenger and hopefully get you on? If not, don't worry about it. But I want to get you on the show to interview you if you have time. My man Tom Treadwell, my former boss at WLS AM and FM. He was the president and general manager. I'd like to get you on the show, Tom. Yeah, Corporation for Public Broadcast. You know what's sad about that is the impact of public broadcasting not only to people nationwide, but there are other towns within our great country that rely on public broadcasting. NPR with radio and PBS for television. And they need that to get their daily information that deals with everything. And you want to cut that out completely. And again, I don't know about you when it comes to 47, but he's really destroying this country bit by bit at all types of levels. Sick Jackie Chan started out as Bruce Lee's stunt double. The two developed a friendship. As a matter of fact, in Enter the Dragon, there's a very quick scene. You have to slow it down. So this is when Bruce Lee's character is in the dungeon basement area of Mr. Han's island, and Mr. Han's henchmen are coming up to Bruce Lee. You know, he's taking out one by one, and he grabs this one guy with Jackie Chan, and he twists him around, and he kicks the other guy, and then off camera, you don't see Jackie Chan, but you see Bruce snapping his neck. You can hear the neck crack. That was Jackie Chan, and you're right; they did form a friendship. It was Jackie Chan who said in an interview that they wanted him to be the next Bruce Lee, and that was the one thing that he had to kind of like fight for, because I remember his movie Battle Creek Brawl, or called The Big Brawl, and that came out by Warner Brothers. And Jackie Chan will be the next martial arts star for Warner Brothers. And you cannot, when you're making your own mark, you have to make your own mark and not worry about the person came before you. The person came before you set the groundwork. And then they figured, okay, they want you to be the next person. You can't. You can't be the next person. All you can do is just be yourself. You hear the old adage about following in somebody's footsteps? I've always said, leave those footsteps alone, put on your own shoes, and make your own footprints. That's what I think. And then the whole thing with when they get tight about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Oh yeah, it's funny because in Hollywood in the '60s, a lot of actors were going to Bruce for training and things like that, like Steve McQueen back in the day, and others who went to him for training. And of course, you know, he was, of course, Kato in the Green Hornet that aired on ABC. Him and Van Williams it was a counterpart to Batman. So Batman was on first. Batman came out, I think, in 1966, and of course, you want that companion piece to come on afterwards to have that hour block, because Batman was on for half an hour. Then they did the Green Hornet, which was the flip of Batman, obviously, which was cool. Again, you're not doing what Batman does. Got your own audience, creating your own audience, and it was more serious take on crime fighting. And I liked it. They did a crossover, for those of you who watched the show or watched reruns of it, of Batman and the Green Hornet. Now, that story was funny because in the script, they finally meet. So it's Batman versus the Green Hornet, and Kato, Robin versus each other. So so in the script, Robin was supposed to kick Kato's ass. He was like, no, ain't nobody gonna believe that. And Bruce was right. Hey, no offense, the guy's in tights. I don't say you can't kick ass in tights. The guy's in tights with Robin Hood shoes on. You got Kato against him. No offense, Robin. I love Robin with Batman. I think some of the most interesting pairings. And to the credit of DC, back in the day for comic books, Robin was the first sidekick. I respect the history. But goddamn it, ain't no way in the world that, even when I watched it as reruns as a kid, ain't no way in the world that they were going to, when I read about that down the road, that Robin would beat Kato in a fight. Hell no. Mm-mm. Just they no halves. So they eventually had a standoff, and then that was about it. But no, I'm with Bruce on that one. Ain't no way in the world you're gonna have Robin beat Kato. As a matter of fact, the popularity of Bruce Lee overseas back in Hong Kong, when they aired the show, The Green Hornet, it was called The Kato Show. So when Bruce Lee left America to go to Hong Kong and was approached by some movie producers, yeah, his popularity was strong over there. So yeah, to go over there and be embraced by people who'd appreciate his work. How do you like that? Robin knew back karate. Lord Stephen. I've not talked to this brother in a long time. We communicated off show. But it's good to see you here, Lord Stephen. How you doing? It's been a minute, man. How are you? And thank you for returning to Baseline. This brother right here, like I said before, and I mentioned about Batman. Every Batman needs a Joker. So I thank Lord Stephen for being my Joker over the years. So it's all love. Dude, how you doing? Please type in how you doing. Like to catch up with you. If you can, call in, and it goes to the rest of you. You want to call into the program, It's Free Your Mind Friday, as you know. 312-597-2106. Again, you see it down on the ticker there. 312-597-2106. Call in. Go through the YouTube channel, as you see Sick has done, and also others who are not participating. That's okay. You can look. You can be a peekaboo if you want to. For this situation, the Chris Base channel, all one word with a period at the end of the channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. On Instagram, I am the Base. And of course, you want to continue to leave your comments in the peanut gallery, please do so. Lord Steve, how you doing, brother? Again, good to have you on board. I want to give a shout out to all of you out there. Facebook, I received the Conversation Starter Badge for starting engaging conversations and producing inspiring content. I thank Facebook for the opportunity to continue to get more content out there. I thank you, Facebook, for the Facebook badge. I want to thank you out there. All of you take time out to be a part of the content, to listen to it, to read about it, to engage in it. I couldn't do it without you. So this badge I share with you out there again. Conversation starter from Facebook, a Facebook badge for starting engaging conversations and producing inspiring content. Thank you all for making that happen. I could never do anything what I do here without you. So thank you so much for that honor. I don't take it lightly. We know how it is. You're out here. I want to say I don't compete. I just do what I do and see how far it goes, like anything else. But it's nice to be acknowledged. And again, thank you for out there, all of you out there, for taking the time to be a part of this excursion that we do on BaseLine and on CBI on Wednesday. Speaking of CBI, my shout out to my man Charles Smoot, who was my guest on CBI this past Wednesday. Talked about his background, but the majority was talking about music. And we just had a great conversation. I hope you was a part of that as well. That was just out of this world. It really was. We talked about his musical journey from loving house music to Prince to jazz. And I want to thank Chuck because thanks to him, all these past couple of days, I've been listening to jazz again. I told you I played jazz, my first professional gig, playing jazz music at WBEE AM 1570 in Harvey, Illinois. And that was my first professional gig, and I played jazz and went back and played a lot after the show I did with Chuck, and it was just very cool. Let's see, Lord Stephen, disconnected. No, hold on. I don't think it's disconnected. I just put on. Hold on, let me see. One. I think it's disconnected. Hold on. Let me do something technical here real quick. Your phone is disconnected. Hold on. Let me check something. Okay. Not saying you're lying, but let me check on my own. So I check these things before I start my program. So let me see here. So I'm going to do this. Okay. Okay, there you go. It works. Calling you right now. Okay, so it works. Right. So yeah, the calling number works. Again, that's 312-597-2106. So it's working. So let's see. We say I'm alive coming your way next Friday. Well, if you have time, try again. Maybe some, how these things are with cell phones, stuff like that. So try it again. I'd love to hear from you, brother. If not, hope we get a chance to, like I say, reconnect with you next Friday. But yeah, the phone line's working. Chris, you deserve this honor for the work you do. Keep us informed. And I am proud to taking part in BaseLine. All you always be friends and family to me. I am very grateful. I'm very grateful to you as well, Omar. Thank you for the kind words again about the conversation starter badge I received from Facebook. So again, it's always cool to be acknowledged. And again, I wouldn't have it happen had not been for people like yourself. Let's try this. Let's see what happens. So let's go to the phones. Okay, so is this Lord Stephen?
It might be.
Okay, I'll take might be. Okay. Man, it is so good. It's so good to hear your voice. How you doing, man?
I am right. I'm fine. I became a victim of COVID, and I have long-term COVID.
Hey, do me a favor, turn your monitor down in the background so I can hear you clearer.
Hold on.
Okay.
God, I gotta get that laugh. I almost got arrested for that laugh, man.
Oh, well, your laugh is diabolical now.
Oh, God. That was supposed to be played in court, and there's no way I could tell I did not mean harm to the person I was arguing with. Okay. The last thing you hear was that laugh. I said, nope.
It is so good to hear. I said, go ahead. You go ahead.
There's no way in hell I could attempt to court anything, but I was going to hurt this man. which I kind of was, but that's a different story. Listen, man, I haven't talked to you since COVID.
Yes.
I really stopped messing with Facebook. Then I found out I'm not as young as I used to be, and people I know are dying, and I don't know unless I'm on Facebook. So I had to go back to Facebook because a lot of them don't know my phone number. That's by design.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those who really need to contact me, they know my phone number. Anybody else there? But that's just me.
Yeah.
How have you been? How is your mother?
She is doing great. We have moved. We used to live in Bronzeville. Now we're back in the South Shore area. So we moved into a house now. So it's my sister's family, my sister, brother-in-law, my niece and nephew, my mom and me. So we're all living together, and everybody's doing great. No, mom is fantastic. Thanks for asking.
What part of South Shore, may I ask?
This will be in the Avalon Park area.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But like this, you know where CVS High School is?
Who?
CVS High School.
Yeah.
Okay, it's near there. I'm near there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was thinking you was closer in. I'm like, oh God, I can't see you living in that neighborhood with your mother. Anybody else? I hear my city's just going crazy, man. Are the murders as bad as they trying to make it seem? Okay, my nephew's telling me when I come to Chicago, don't take CTA because that's the most dangerous thing you could do. You don't know the people out there. You don't know why you can bump into a person and they get mad because you step on her shoes. Or, like, damn, my city's reduced to that.
I would say partly that's true. Unfortunately, I think again, like any other city, there's pockets here and there in the city to where it's extreme violence or people just, I say lost what's left of their minds to begin with. But the crime has gone down some, and that's due to the fact of we have police superintendent Larry Snelling, who really is getting the job done. As a matter of fact, when I have my brother and guest that comes on every Friday, Pastor Donovan Price, who deals with a fortunate situation of people losing loved ones to violence, crimes, things like that, and he's on there to administer healing and faith. So he's boots on the ground here in our city, and I would throw him in there also because of his help. He's getting notoriety now. They've been announcing the FBI acknowledged him for community service. There's been articles written about him in local papers and beyond. So I think with everybody doing their bit, it has gone down some. But no, it's not easy when you just try and take publication. Like you said, put somebody step on your shoes, and hell, it was like that when I was taking public transportation. Hell, man, certain people you just don't screw with. But I think overall, it's getting better, but it's a standpoint of putting in more hard work, and so it has gone down some percentage wise. So we just hope for the best and take our victories, but at the same time, there's more hard work to be done.
Yeah, the two areas I'm talking about going in is Woodlawn, that's in the 63rd and 65th Street area.
Mm-hmm.
And the other place is South Shore off Exchange,
Mm-hmm.
between Exchange and Yates.
Yeah.
And I know better than go back over there.
You know, it's funny. I grew up there originally. My original area was in South Shore. I stayed on Colfax. And
how long ago?
That was you talk about like the 70s and 80s.
Oh, okay.
So that was like my birth home. And I in fact in the 90s I raised my children there. So my mom said it was cool for me to raise my children there. So my wife Vicky and my two daughters, Brianna and Matia, we all were there together. So at one point it was a classic, middle class neighborhood.
Yeah,
it really was.
It was.
It really was. So in fact, my cousin, his family lived on, like around 82nd and Yates. So in that area, it was really classic middle class. But over the years, deterioration, businesses started to leave, and it got to a point where it's unrecognizable. It really is. That's the sad thing about it, because it really was a good neighborhood.
Yeah, I grew up in there. I remember when 71st Street used to be the dividing line for black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
If you went to the beach, me and my white friend, we were looking for fossils at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And we went on about the housing project, not a project, the house, the condos that on 75th off Exchange going toward the water.
Yes.
We went there and they started making racial slurs. And my friend, you just use your karate on them. I said, man, these are big motherfuckers grabbing big bricks and sticks. They gonna let you go and kill me. Fuck this. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Sorry. You're good. You're good. Yeah. You're going to swear. It's good.
Okay. I'm gone. And later on, I wound up moving to South Shore. And I know why you moved, because the neighborhood was going bad. I moved in where it was going bad. I'm like, hey, this ain't right.
Yeah. But we moved back to South. Yeah, we moved back to South Shore. It's the where we are is very quiet. It's a very quiet neighborhood. Yeah. It's very nice, and again, it's like I said before, I put this on my Facebook page once. So back in the day, I used to watch Tom and Jerry. I still do when I get hold of it. And in between, they had these individual cartoons, right? So there's one cartoon where this bear put an advertisement in the newspaper about watching over him, being his watchdog while he slept through the wintertime. And so the dog shows up, the bear comes onto the door, quiet, be quiet. I can't stand noise. Quiet. I mean, and I become that bear. Quiet, right. Quiet. What's wrong? Yeah. You deaf or something? So I have become that bear. I hate noise. I can't stand it, Doc. I can't do it. So yeah, and I see that cartoon. I see myself in that bear. Oh man, how's your wife doing?
My wife, I traded her. I got a fifth wife.
You ain't right, man.
I traded her because she was mean.
Oh no, don't say that.
Don't believe him. Don't believe him.
I won't.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See how AI works?
AI. Don't tell me you traded your wife for an AI wife.
Hey man, Chris Base.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, as you see, where I get my potty mouth from.
I'm sure you had that potty mouth way before you met your wife. Now.
Oh no, I wasn't like no. I was a God.
Okay, be careful the lightning bolt.
I can't go that deep.
Right. I figured you wouldn't. Right.
That comes from working in a prison for 23 years.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, you have to find a way to communicate and fight back. So I get that. Yes.
I mean, she had to teach me slang.
I'm sorry. I forgot you. What's your wife's name? What's your wife's name again?
Miss McEvil.
Not that. Come on now.
Chris, my name is Cindy.
Okay, I want to personally thank you because I remember online you would give me updates that I saw about your husband. So I want to thank you for doing that.
you're very welcome.
Yes. Real talk.
Stop.
Stop. You know that. You know you love that woman's jaws. I don't want to hear no more about that. Oh, hey man. Look.
But you know, it's fine being out here in the white world. But I want my black brothers and sisters know that the same problems y'all having here is happening to white folks.
Okay.
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 Except for they have a meth problem. Oh, dude, these oh my Lord, they make. If you come out here and you just encounter one of them, I guarantee you, the next day, if not that same day, you're going to buy a gun.
Oh, stop! You gotta be kidding.
Oh, dude, I mean, they ain't running around rampant and shit for like that, but
right.
You know, when if you ask us for work, I'm getting up in age, I can't mow my grass.
Right.
My wife's having problems, so we hired this guy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I came home and he says, well, he promised he'd break up the clippings. 3 weeks ago, he comes and picks them up.
Mm-hmm.
Now he mows the grass again. But what makes the difference this time is that we used to pay him till to get the job done.
Right. Absolutely.
That's what we got to do.
Yes.
That's what we got to do.
That's right.
But it's when they say life on the other side of the street or outside of the track, this train track is across from me. You mean that. It's rough on the other side of the track.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
What Trump is getting ready to do, he's going to put more homeless people on the street.
Oh, that's his game plan.
Or unhoused. He want us begging and poor and sick.
Mm-hmm.
See,
yeah.
he wants to try to make America white, but guess what? White people ain't going because you say screw it on me. We going to all because you take birth control away. You know, they still got brothers.
That's right.
You know, they still got other stuff out there, and they're trying to take it all away in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, name of white Jesus. Yeah, the Jesus that they created.
You know, and already he has removed the thing that the law of discrimination, where you had water fountains and bathrooms separate.
Yeah,
you can do that now in federal buildings.
Yeah, sad but true.
So he's going to try to have federal buildings, black bathrooms and white bathrooms. Yeah. He's going to make that call.
True.
You know.
Yeah, he's sending back the hands of time, and again, he's and going back to the whole slogan about "Make America Great Again." No, he wants to make America white again, and now you have to go through that type of mentality, which is sick because there was some progress for us in this country, but now he wants to set everything back to the point where you want to eradicate Black history or Black people in this country. The case in point, even though they reinstated, they had the U.S. government military had removed Jackie Robinson's name, like he never existed, and they had to put it back because people, how pressuring the government to put his name back on the website. But they're slowly but surely want to eradicate what we have done, contributing wise, even to the point of there are Navy ships that have been named after various people, and one was, of course, Thurgood Marshall. They try to remove his name off of it, and other military. So there you go.
The other one made a name after the gay mayor,
Harvey Milk.
Harvey Milk, named after Harvey Milk.
Right.
They took the name Ilona Gay off the plane, and gay did not mean what it does now until the 70s.
Right.
See.
Mm-hmm.
Because you couldn't sing if you don't believe in gay, you cannot sing the Flintstones song because the last line is what? We'll have a gay old time.
Right.
Well, you know, that's when it comes to that part. People say, well,
love the Flintstones, man. As a matter of fact, we got DirecTV, and DirecTV partnered up with Me Tunes. So Me TV Tunes is based out of here in Chicago, and like Me TV, they're Me TV Tunes. So now DirecTV has Me TV Tunes. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing, man. I'm watching cartoons I mean, Speed Racer. They got every like Speed Racer, the old Looney Tunes, Hanna-Barbera, and it's just nice just to go back in time and watch these cartoons that when you were a kid, no matter how old you are, no matter age you have, you enjoy it.
Before they pussified Saturday morning.
Yes.
With Archie and Scooby Doo.
Mm-hmm. Got that. They got that too.
Josie and the Pussycat.
They got that too. Yep.
The Groovy Ghoulies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I got access to the Flintstones because I always liked the episodes. But year 5, 6th episode, a house is not a haunted home. When he had to stay at the house, the haunted house, to collect the money.
Uh-huh.
So you hear my wife laughing. I don't care how old I get. My God, that is the funny episode. Well, you got to realize the Flintstones were not made for kids.
No, in fact, it aired in prime time. It was the first animated series to air in prime time television.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then came Johnny Quest was not for kids.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You know, but they broke the race barrier with hockey. How many blacks you seen with cartoons with blacks in it? And tell Bill Cosby, hey,
right.
There's no blacks in no cartoon.
No, you're right. You know what I liked about the Flintstones real quick? I like the episode with the gangsters. So there's a many of them that I like, but I like the one who was like, nice and slow. That's the way to do it. Nice and slow. Right. As a matter of fact, on MeTV Tunes, it airs at 6:30 at night, like its original time slot back in the day. So they're paying homage to the whole thing. Man, that stuff is I'm telling you, man, it warms my heart. Let me go out to the comment section real quick as we continue on. What's up, Jed? Jed says Smithsonian took his name off the list and impeached presidents. Revolutionary history, while news says economy is bad as the 70s. Oh yeah, and greetings, Base Nation. Oh, thank you for that. I go back to the whole removing of historical names. What I hate about 47 is that, and I mentioned before on this program, I like the fact now that he's backpedaling with his whole Jeffrey Epstein files. You can't use that old playbook anymore. See, back before, I mean, he's throwing out Obama, he's throwing out Biden, he's throwing out Clinton, and even to the releasing of the MLK file, Dr. King's files. Why? Because you know that you're about to be outed for being a part of those files and knowing Jeffrey Epstein and everything else. So that old playbook doesn't work anymore. And I just like the fact that he's nervous. It's like, I don't know. I never. Yet you've had all these pictures with Jeffrey Epstein, and you're denying everything. So just the fact that you got that going on, and again trying to eradicate history and all the other things he did, man, the dude's doing too much.
Too much wrong.
Yes, too much wrong. Yes.
and he made the statement the other day. Americans making so money, so I don't know what level of people we should give it to. Motherfucker, you know you give it to the million and billionaires.
Thank you.
You ain't going no lower than that. You don't know who to give it to.
Come on, man.
You know, he's taking money from, how do you take money from an organization that are feeding the people that can barely eat and or try to have healthy meals? How do you do that and fucking sleep at night? Oh, that's right. You don't have these problems.
Right.
See, they don't have a problem with their water. You know, so they ain't about the water in the country. They ain't got to worry about no roads because they place to go. They're gonna plan a map, and if it's bumpy before, it'll be fixed before he gets there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
He'll have security for his life, so he's not worried about walking down the street.
Right.
Yeah, but there's a lot of high-powered brothers. I'm gonna see you anything. You know, yeah. Scope works wonders. If old boy would have had a scope, the first guy to ear, I think that was a setup anyway.
That was bullshit. That whole play, I mean, he can't even act right. I mean, again, the whole thing about that first attempt on his life, he hits his ear, drops onto the floor, the so-called security is around him, and then he stops to put his fist to get approval from the audience. If somebody should your ass, you ain't putting your fist up. You trying to get the hell up out of there.
Okay. Now, see, you're in my field.
I mean, come on, man.
Okay, let me tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a primary, whichever's the primary,
mm-hmm.
okay, and somebody shoots, you get the primary out the area as fast as possible to the cars.
Right.
They piled up on them like, we're going to save the president. That ain't the way you didn't do that shit with Reagan.
Thank you. That's true. That's a good comparison. Yes.
Like I said, it's just too much.
It is.
And it seems on the golf course, he got caught cheating. That's why he always wins his tournaments. Nobody can beat me. I'm that good. Oh, motherfucker, we just saw how you win.
Thank you.
And for a man, like I say, he's trying to get rid of anybody with any kind of darkness in his skin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're Asian and you ain't right with him. He's gonna look at them.
That's right.
But see, they're no threat. See,
mm-hmm.
It's just the blacks and Mexicans are.
Yeah.
Because see, now if you stop abortion, white women stop having abortion. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Poor women will stop having abortions.
Okay.
Rich white women will be able to travel and go. All this. If you know somebody that had an abortion going out of town, let us know, and we'll get up. Man, come on. But see, this is women's fault. See?
Right.
There should have been no woman voting for Trump at all. Okay? Because out of all the things, they're always picking on women's rights. True. And one thing, especially when it comes to health care, especially when it comes to abortion. And I feel like there should be no slinging. Nobody got a package. Ain't going to, if you got a penis, you don't have a vote.
That's right. And
you're not going to be. You're not going to be able. You're not going to ever have abortion. It's a decision not yours.
Right.
All of men. Well, a lot of women's problems are solved by men, and they ain't got it right yet.
Thank you. And the fact that you overturned Roe v. Wade, the fact that you overturned that, and then you have women sometimes to go over state lines to get an abortion, some women bleeding out and dying, literally by the hospital or near or before they get there, is insane.
God's way. It's God's will.
Yeah,
they feel like it's God's will.
Yeah, pure evil.
Yeah. That's what, and I really, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
The women's pay rate. I know I get a lot of smack from men about this, but women should get paid more than men. For the simple fact, more things are going to happen to a woman's life than a man's going to happen to a man.
I've never heard that, but I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Look at the basics.
Mm-hmm.
When men wash up, we don't even really need soap. It's the water. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We really don't. But let's say we just need soap and water. Women can't be completely clean with just soap and water.
They have to be very careful with the balances, yeah.
She has to take care of other areas. And it can be infected, man, please.
That's true, yeah.
Women can get so many things and ovarian cancer for that. They just clean. Do these men have any? Oh, yeah. That's where they got their parents in nursing homes. See, we're trying to put our people away in nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
See, except the Mexicans and Indians and Asians, you look in their house and in the back corner, you see grandpa, grandma, whatever,
right,
slowly dying in their house.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have this person die away from family.
Man.
If we did that as a country, we would knock out the homes because it's less to keep. It costs less to keep them in a home than it does in these senior citizens' homes.
Well, you're right. And let me say before we part company, the thing about this country, as you know full well, is that this country never honors its elderly. Never. I mean, you look at other countries who honor them, take care of them. There's a reason why they have them around for sage advice and just taking care because they took care of you when you came out the womb and things like that. But no, this country has no idea what it means to really take care of its elderly people. So that's going to be an age-old argument for a long time. But I agree with what you said. Your sentiments. I got to move on. But Lord Stephen, it is so cool to hear from you, man. You have no idea. I'm glad that you're feeling better under the circumstances. And look, man, let's not make this a one-time thing. If you come back on the show next week, man, please have at it.
What time does your show start?
I start 4 p.m. Central. So you're out in the West, so that'll be like 2 or 3 o'clock your time?
But I should be in the air next time. So my first stop should be downtown Chicago. Well, I think I might make it. next week, man. But you have a blessed day, and people in Chicago, stay safe.
Thank you,
and
brother.
Try not to call the police because somebody definitely wants them dead.
Well, you don't want that, but yeah, just to be careful, be safe. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lord Stephen, man. You take care, bro. And my best to your wife.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And my man, Lord Stephen, yeah, as a matter of fact, when I was on UBM, Urban Broadcast Media, that's how I connected with him. He was calling to the show. Former Chicagoan, lives out in the West now. I think he's in the Colorado area. Don't quote me on that, but it's been a minute. And so he would call in every now and again, and we go back and forth, and had a nice, friendly rivalry, which I miss, and I'm glad that he's back. Well, first of all, I'm glad he's feeling well in the circumstances about having COVID. I mean, good night, but I'm glad to hear from him. The Bureau of Prisons has transferred Ghislaine Maxwell from a federal prison in Florida to a minimum security facility in Bryan, Texas. The transfer happened as Maxwell, an accomplice of the late sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, seeks a deal in a Trump administration eager to tamp down a furor over his refusal to release its files on Epstein. Maxwell attorney David Marcus confirmed with the move to HuffPost, but declined to comment any further. Earlier this week, Marcus wrote in a letter to members of Congress seeking Maxwell's testimony that she'd be happy to speak in exchange for a pardon or commutation from Donald Trump. Now, Maxwell is serving a 20-year prison sentence for helping Epstein recruit and groom underage girls for sexual exploitation by Epstein. Maxwell others, Epstein died by suicide in federal custody in 2019, shortly after he'd been indicted. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi said earlier this year she had an Epstein quote-unquote client list on her desk that the files would be soon released. But last month, the Justice Department said it would release no further information about the case. Epstein's life and death has been the subject of rampant speculation, and the government's refusal prompted a furious backlash from some of Trump's strongest supporters outside of the government. Trump's name is reportedly mentioned in the files. Trump was friends with Epstein for years, and the two were reportedly photographed together. He said this week their relationship soured after Epstein and Maxwell stole young women from his Mar-a-Lago club. Reporters asked if he was referring to Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's most outspoken victims. Trump said yes. Giuffre, who died by suicide in April, has said she was hired away from Mar-a-Lago in 2000 when she was 16, and that she was ordered by Maxwell and Epstein to have sex with men by telling her to give them messages. Giuffre's family sharply criticized her transfer to a more lenient facility in a statement to CNN. Ghislaine Maxwell is a sexual predator who physically assaulted minor children on multiple occasions and she would never be shown any leniency, the family said. Yet, without any notification to the Maxwell victims, the government oversight has moved Maxwell to a minimum security luxury prison in Texas. This is the justice system's failing victims, and is right before our eyes. The White House did not immediately respond to requests for comment. The prison camp where Maxwell was sent, FPC Bryan, is classified as a minimum security camp for women. Her previous facility, FCI Tallahassee, houses both men and women, as classified as a low security. While the difference seems subtle, the difference between a maximum and low security facility are significant. Okay, so let me get this straight. So let me go back to the comment section. Okay, Oregon, my bad. So Lord Stephen is from the state of Oregon. Thank you for the correction. Going back to this whole thing with Ghislaine Maxwell, would we be shocked or shocked and awed that Trump would pardon her? We shouldn't be. If that's going to be the case, we don't know yet. And so this is what happens when, as I was talking to Lord Stephen about this, when you use an old playbook and it doesn't work anymore. So again, 47 is being pressed by the media about the Epstein files and him being, well, hell, he took pictures with him. He's, like I said in the article, being photographed a lot. And then to turn around and use the Dr. King files, go open up that, throw in Obama again, and Biden and Clinton. These people are way past gone in the government. It's just you, Doc. It's you. Even Bernice King, Dr. King's daughter, said online, okay, now open up the files for Epstein. I'm paraphrasing. So yeah, since you open up her father's files, open up the files of Epstein. So what are you hiding from, 47? This is what happens when you run on fear for your campaign. This is what happens when you run on fear, you run on conspiracy theories, lies, not even lies, sex tape, and it's not even lies, sex, and videotape. It's impossible. There's all this going on. She was already getting a lot in yoga classes and other facility, hard to keep temper in check. People do hard time for growing cannabis. You're right, Jed. Even before the fact that cannabis became legal, there were people in jail serving 15, 20 years for smoking pot. And here's, Ghislaine Maxwell, minimum or low security. Well, that means ain't nobody watching your ass. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Thank you, Jed, for that. Sick types, he cannot escape the truth. Absolutely sick. Absolutely. I like the fact that he's backpedaling. I get great joy from it, me personally. But here's the caveat. I want to share this with you. Say the files are released, and say they're not redacted, and his name is in there. And dare I say, he has had sex with underage girls. What's going to happen to him? Go ahead, I'll wait. You can type in if you want to or call in at 312-597-2106. What will happen to him? What do you think? I hate to say it, but probably nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Why? Because society's already normalized his bad behavior. 34 counts. Also dealing with rape. The constant lies, indicted in office. And nothing has happened to this man at all. Nothing. Which is why they call him Teflon Don. It's sick. And it's evil behavior. But I think they'll normalize. I think they'll say it's okay for him to have sex with underage girls or children. We don't know yet. And that's the problem I have. Normalizing bad behavior, which is him or JD Vance or others. When you say it's okay and it's not okay, it really isn't. It's sick, to say the very least. Normalizing bad behavior and it becomes the normal thing to do, that's not right. It's not right to the victims. It's not right to society in general. Because are we moral or amoral when it comes to society at whole? Now, with the current leadership in office, it's way beyond amoral. It's damn near Sodom and Gomorrah. I kid you not. So, with everything else being normalized, who's to say that this sick act or acts with an S at the end of it can become normalized in society? Of course, you get people that push back like myself and others who say it's wrong, disgusting, nasty, and evil. What about the rest of society? What about the rest of them who's already normalized his bad behavior patterns? If they do that, they're going to normalize this too. That's what I hate. That bothers me the most. Again, you know, I have 2 daughters. Just the fact that someone like him, who is vile, would say on The View in the past, also on the Howard Stern show on Sirius XM, if his daughter wasn't his daughter, he'd date her. She has a hot smoking body. I'd do that. That's not funny. It's not. The Howard Stern show can get a little more leniency to a degree because that's what Howard does. I mean, he says some outrageous stuff. So someone like a guest like 47 can come on there and say some outrageous stuff. But there you go. You know, it's just sick. How you doing, Lydia? Lydia says, I saw an interview with Kamala Harris on Stephen Colbert that gave me hope last night. Yeah, I missed it. I'll go into the story about Kamala Harris not running for the presidency, but what did you think about the interview? So you can share with us. Lydia, please do. Let's see. Sick, he has no filter. Yeah, he acts on impulse, right? No, you're right. Let's see. So, Lord Stephen, now there's a ring of billionaire pedophile America has to worry about. Yes and no, Lord Stephen, because again, when I said this about if they find something on him that deals with pedophilia and nobody does anything about it, then that empowers pedophilia people. You know, it empowers all of that. It should not, but it will. Because this is the age we're living in. This is the type of behavior that we have to fight back on. You and I got to push back on this type of stuff. But men who are pedophiles and everything else, they will feel empowered. Just like he empowered the racists, empowered the conspiracy theorists, he empowers them. The billionaires and millionaires who get away with stuff, he empowers them too. By having 34 counts and not serving a day in jail. Not even an ankle bracelet at Mar-a-Lago. So that's where we are. If that was passed over and nobody gave a hoop and holler and hell about that, what makes you think that him being associated by being a pedophile is going to make any difference? It won't make a goddamn difference whatsoever. It won't. When you and I both know it's sick and vile behavior. But it won't make any goddamn difference because he's already been embraced by this being the normal. And it's not the normal. Now, you and I both know that. But the other motherfuckers out here, they're going to be empowered and watch more hell being released upon this nation. Why? Because the racists have their shining knight. The racists have their person to look up to. The pedophiles, if this is released about Trump being a pedophile from the Epstein files, then they have a hero too. What do you say? Yeah, to be more accurate. Yeah, look, man, it's all the same thing, unfortunately. Thank you, Sick, for that. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. What do you say, Lydia? She told us she's fighting for us, but not seeking office. She wants the people to know it's our country, not his or his crazy friends. Yeah, I agree. What do you say, Leah? Looking for karma to come and slap all of them. I wish they would slap not only the entire shit out of them, but give them an elbow too. I really hope so. Now, Sick, I saw the thing about asking for the link. I have to wait and see if Pastor will come on. I don't want to interrupt that. So if he usually sometimes he'll give me a text to be coming on now. So let me get some time to see if Pastor come on. If not, then I'll bring the link in. So I'm gonna give you that note up front. Let me just check this to be sure because I sent him some info about. So let me check something real quick. Okay, so you know our Pastor schedule is, so we'll see. So some time elapsed, then we'll make it happen. Which is sure, no problem. Thank you for understanding. Thank you. And that is the thing in a nutshell for me, is that the taste will come out, say it's not redacted, because redacting right there is going to show you how guilty his ass is. But say it's not redacted, and we get the files as is. His name is brought up numerous of times, association with pedophilia. What's going to happen to him? Not a damn thing. And that's the saddest thing about all of this. Nothing will happen to him. I don't bet much, but I bet you a dime to a donut that's going to happen. We need an update on the pastor. MRI is no joke. Yeah, he had that recently. Thank you for that, Jed. Hopefully we'll come on. If not, then of course we'll catch up with him next week. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, he had the MRI. That's right. He mentioned on social media, mentioned on Facebook. Pastor Donovan Price did. So apparently, I think everything went okay from what I know of it. So we'll see. But you're right. Absolutely, update on that. Go back to Pastor real quick. I'm glad that he was able to, in time, lose some weight and look at health reasons and things like that and try to get that up the board, which he has been doing a good job. He looks great. And the job that he does, you got to be in the most peak condition mentally and physically for that. So, we're behind Pastor. So, he's that. Look, I wasn't mad at him for the treat that he had. I thought it was a very cool segment. We came on the show and was in line at Lim's Barbecue. They're on the south side on 75th Street. That was cool. That was nice. But getting back to 47 real quick. So that whole dynamic of him throwing out these names, releasing Dr. King's files and things like that, we're not going to buy it. And we never will. But I think what pissed him off the most is that the MAGA supporters are not buying it. They're not taking the bait. Well, hell, these are the people you campaigned. To have them buy into conspiracy theories and lies and things like that. So you thought they were going to buy this? No. No. Because you say so? I mean, really. Oh, man. Got to hang in there, people. We have to. Let's see. Bill Burr gave a no-holds-barred interview to Vulture, courtesy of the Good Ones podcast, where he called CNN and Fox News, quote unquote, a fucking disease and railed against conservatives like Ben Shapiro for trying to brand him as some woke comedian. Burr and Shapiro got into a public spat earlier this year when Shapiro blasted Burr for going woke after the comedian took aim at the selfish and greedy CEOs in the wake of the murder of United Healthcare Chief Executive Brian Thompson. Quote, he doesn't even know what the word means, Burr told Vulture about Shapiro. His definition of woke is white liberals' definition of woke, and he don't even know what it was. They just took the word from black people. That's the worst thing about our people. Not only do we take from other cultures, we don't even take the time to understand the definition. That fucking guy, Bird added in the interview about Shapiro. He was trying to bring me into his fold. At one point, the guy liked me, and then all of a sudden, I'm a fucking asshole. I'm supposed to look at that guy like he's an adult. When Vulture observed that Shapiro's criticism took off online, giving that a certain portion of the right also started to complain about Bird's going woke. The comedian responded, racist. They're racist. They send pictures of monkeys to me and my wife, the actress Nia Renee Hill. They're fucking horrible people, and they're cowards, and they'll never say it to your face. There's an ugliness out there right now with where if you're a racist, you're an anti-Semite. If you're a psycho nationalist and you want a softball interview, there's podcasts out there where you can get one. Bird continued. They will laugh at your fucking bad jokes and give you this pass. There's a really ugly thing going on out there, and we are already seeing what it does to a nation, and it's not the way to go. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Jed Tice Bill Burr will let you know his opinion. These guys want to be a comedian friend so bad. Yeah, going back to him and Ben Shapiro. Well, for me as a broadcaster and doing radio before, of course, there's social media, Rush Limbaugh, the late Rush Limbaugh, was the pinnacle of conservative thought and conservative radio. And he was dynamic and he was great at what he did. He really was. I don't never agree with his political standings, mind you, but as a broadcaster, the way he did his show, the way it was lightning quick, the way he executed the program. As a broadcaster, I had to respect that. As a matter of fact, when I got to WLS AM the second time, and my second boss was Mike Elder, he was the one that said, I want you to study the Limbaugh show. Don't worry about his content, just the way, from a production standpoint, I want you to study that. And I did. I had newfound respect for him. That's about as far as it went, but there you go. So ever since, even during when he was alive and his passing, everybody wants to be the next Limbaugh. They won't tell you to your face, but yeah. Same with Ben Shapiro and the like. Bill O'Reilly, when he was popular during this time, Bill O'Reilly tried to do conservative radio and go up against Rush Limbaugh and failed. And see, when you do radio, it's a whole different thing. When people want to do radio so that, like I said before, I always tell people, get your own show. And I don't mean that to be mean. I mean it sincerely. If you want to do what I'm doing here on social media, there's no excuse. Go do it. Go do it. Now, myself having radio experience does help creating content, mind you. But it's a whole different animal. It really is. Conservative radio is always built and will be built on conservative white males in the world of talk radio. Someone like myself who doesn't really align with either party, even though I'm a registered Democrat politically, I see how they're going to pot. So I'm a man unto my own island at this point. I don't know. I'll never go to the dark side with conservatives. Republicans, no. and the Democrats are pissing me off. So I remember I had a liner in my show once. He's not Republican. He's not Democrat. He's base. So that's why I stick when it comes to politics. I'm just my own person. Now, having said all that, they want to be the next Limbaugh. They want to be in that chair. They want to have all that power. But that'll never happen again, especially through the breakthrough of social media and the internet, especially through podcasting. So, whole different animal. Let's see. Shapiro's a beady eyed little weasel. He's known for obnoxious and being obnoxious and snarky. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, Raleigh was my yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Jed. Oh yeah, Raleigh was a piece of work. They said had no clue how talentless he was. Yeah, see, it's one thing we knew in TV and radio, and of course there's some similarities, but of course two different dynamic animals and mediums, stating the obvious. And some make the change to do TV, and some are successful, some aren't. Not a big fan of Sean Hannity, but Sean Hannity made the leap to conservative TV, Fox News, and became a very successful talk host on television. And there's a lot of people who followed him after that. They followed in the same category of conservative talk TV, outside of conservative talk radio. Some do both, and some just do one or the other. Let's see. It's like Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, Glenn Beck, etc. They're all battling for control of the core conservative audience. You're right. There's enough to go around, don't get me wrong, but they want their percentage. In fact, before he went to the dark side, I met Glenn Beck here in Chicago. There was a seminar about radio, but mostly it was about talk radio. It was a seminar that was here in Chicago at the Hyatt Regency on Wacker Drive. I went there and I met Glenn Beck. This is before he became a nut, but he was very kind to me, gave me some sound advice about syndication. I was thinking about trying to get my show syndicated at one point. How you package it, how to go to the syndicator tonight. So we sat down and talked about a good half an hour. He was very kind to me. So when I saw him make the switch and shaking Satan's hand to go to the dark side, I got it. I understood what he was doing, but I thought it was a waste of talent because outside of all the bullshit that he was doing, Glenn Beck, before that, I liked his act a lot. He really was. He was kind of apolitical at the time, but I liked his show. I liked his honesty about him, being an alcoholic and trying to get his life together and having a family and his wife and everything else. So, yeah, I respect that just on the human side. But it gets to a point where you could make that handshake and then go from there. But be careful when you take that handshake because you got to pay. Lydia, you are so nice to give Limbaugh his props. He always got on my first and last nerve. Don't get me wrong. No, I give him props from a radio standpoint, again, from how he did his show. The stuff in between, bullshit. I no. Only thing I had in common with Limbaugh was football and cigars. The only thing we liked that I liked, and other than that, hell nope. But again, the broadcast of his show really was dynamic. I could see how people will lured into it. I could be wrong, but yeah, I get it. And once again, being within talk radio time, I got to WLS early 90s when I got there. And this was right after they went from being a rock station to an all talk station. So I was right there in its infancy. I got there probably year 3 when they were still on a talk radio kick. So, yeah, to see all that unfold, it was a glorious time. I really love talk radio. I'm not saying I don't now, but I learned from some of the greats. As you know, my mentors, Ty Wansley and Jay Marvin. Yeah, it was, and other great hosts that could have easily went national. That's how talented they were to me as a up and coming host myself, being a board op producer and then eventually a host myself. Oh yeah, it's a glorious time. And for those who came up in that era, all you want to do is be a part of that. That's all. Just be a part of it, make your name, make your contribution, and go from there. But again, I could have, like most, and I thought about it. I shared a story with you before about changing my act, becoming conservative because I'm looking at bills. I got bills to pay and things like that. I'm getting worried. So if I change my act and get more time as a conservative host on LS, then I could probably start get a little headway. But I couldn't do it. I didn't want to sell my soul. And no matter what walk of life you come from, you may think about that, but do you actually do it? Do you actually execute to make that deal? It's entirely up to you. Sick Types, I remember Ben Shapiro being cornered in a debate by with Israel Klein. Yeah, I think I remember reading about that. I think I remember reading something about that. I don't follow these guys anymore. I don't, people like Ben Shapiro, I know of him, but I don't follow him. And people like that, just, I can't listen. And at one point, I would turn to, well, hell, I worked at LS, so all I heard was conservative radio the majority of the time. But between that and Fox News, I listened to what the enemy was saying. I did, just kind of, just to get a kick out of it, just to see what I was up against as a, well, I don't know what to call myself at the time, and even certain people at the job didn't want to call me as a host. I just hosted. I just, I didn't want to have anybody have political affiliations, but there you go. So, to see what the enemy was talking about. I can't take it. I especially can't take it now. I have no patience with. My patience is shot to shit. I can't do it. I really can't. So, again, when you're dealing with that type of mindset, and once again, I'm all for people being different. I don't care. But when you throw in the mudslinging, the personal jabs, which is what conservative radio does and conservative television, I hate it. When I was in talk radio, I was told from that standpoint that you do it to get people riled up. You do it to get people to call in. You do it to pay attention to everything else. I understood that. I just didn't want to be a part of it. I think it was wrong. It did get notoriety. It did have people look at their radio differently. It did have people call in and everything else. But at what price? You may not think there's a price to pay, but there's always a price to pay somewhere. That's what I believe. Jed types, I saw Shapiro playing with G.I. Joes and burning Barbies, so I figured his mental development is the same as 47. Well, when you break it down like that, Jed, then yeah. Very sad indeed. Very sad indeed. All right, so let me get the link for you, Sick. And so let me get that together now. Okay. Where is it? This should be in here. Okay. Yes. Hold on. Be quiet. Thought I had it on mute. I guess I did not. Okay. Okay, there you go. So there is the link again to the show. Yeah, I should have put it back on mute. I was trying to hear something, hear some audio from somewhere. So there you go. So there's the link right there. Stick, you're more than welcome. So there's the link right there for you to come on board. Yeah. sometimes not easy when you throw in the mudslinging, because I find myself doing it, and I don't want to be a hypocrite, but traditionally with me, I do it if I felt somebody was doing it towards me first. I'll throw in some jabs in now and then, because again, with certain people and with their ideology, they're classic bullies. You know the classic bully. They front off, puncture up to get beat down. They're very weak-minded people. When you confront them and give them a taste of their own medicine, the first one's backing off. They can't take it. That's how bullies operate. There's some punk asses. And think about it, they know they're punk asses too. They do. But again, doing that type of mentality is not easy. So again, working in talk radio from that perspective, yeah, just whether it was the host or the callers or guest, again, something medieval about it. Especially, well, not with the second regime I was a part of. The first regime I was a part of, when I first got there, yeah. Even if they didn't mean it, yeah, I think it was something evil about it. To me, today's word, boys and girls, is evil. Ooh, wait. So there's a link for SIG, and also not for SIG, it's for anybody else as well. Anybody else who want to get on board, please have at it. Let's go venture out and say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to one Sick Diggy. Sick, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How you been?
Not
How
too
you
shabby.
always been?
Not too shabby for an old man. I'm doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm getting up there in age, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's a blessing. It really is when you think about it overall.
Yeah. Only disappointment is like I'm 42, but I'm not married because I always wanted to have that Bernie Mac experience. You know, like I'm 42 and I'm tired. You're talking about he loved his wife, but he couldn't. He just, he's just tired of everything.
Yes.
You know.
No, he was right.
He was right. You know, it was all in love, though. It was all in love. He loved his wife, but sometimes you just need to be away from that person. You can't be around each other for too long. That was the problem with the shutdown. Some people just got really, after being around each other for too long, you get a little handsy, you get a little irritated. Especially like people get cabin fever who live out in the wilderness during the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Oof,
yeah,
no joke.
No, that's what happened. When you talk about going back to COVID and staying in place and not going out and things of that nature, I think you realize just how much you hate your family members. I mean, you love them to a degree, or you just love to hate them. And some people got along harmoniously, but then most was like, I really hate this motherfucker. I mean, I've had friends call me like, man, how you doing? I said, well, this is my mom and me, so we're pretty cool. What about you? Man, my wife and my 2 kids, they get on my goddamn nerve. I'm like, I'm sorry you're going through that. You're like, man, you understand, man. I don't like them personally. I thought I loved them. But these mother hubbards, man, they get on I can't take it no more. So I was like, well, hang in there, man. I was like, wish the COVID stuff would end, man. I go back to work. I'm like, well, I'm sorry. They were, really going through it, because again, yeah, it's different when you have a schedule, obviously, going to a 9 to 5. You're going to a job, your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend going to the job too, get that space. And if you have children, saying that they're going to school or going to after school programs, stuff like that. So you have time away. Yeah. So now everybody's in place. And it's like, you know what? I really don't like you. I mean, and you don't want to go there, but that's what happened to a lot of people, I was told.
Me personally, when the shutdown happened, I was in the process of moving. I had to change apartments and everything, but no, it wasn't that bad for me. Because,
who are you staying with?
I live alone. That's the good thing about it.
Okay.
I live alone. Thankfully, I always have lived alone. Haven't been in a long-term relationship in quite some time. And I enjoyed my solitude. And so when the shutdown happened, it was like a normal day for me, especially somebody who suffers from like OCD and everything. Right. I was like, welcome to my world, because up here, they were not panicking about toilet paper. It was just hand sanitizers and whatnot. And I always carry like I always carry hand sanitizer with me at all times. But me, for the shutdown, was just like really peaceful. Because when I would venture, because I would just venture out, and it felt like just like a ghost town and everything, and I just loved the vibe. So I'm just walking around, listening to music, going to and from the grocery store, and I just enjoyed the vibe. But I also enjoyed keeping in touch with my parents who were like back home. And I was keeping in touch with kinfolk and making sure that everybody was okay, and we were like conversing that way.
Right.
But everybody was just like, everybody was like, yeah, I get it. Some people just got sick, just after being cooped up for so long, and people get restricted movements. I don't blame them, but the good thing about it was like, people were a lot more polite, a lot more considerate. There was more decorum during the shutdown and during the scares. But once the restrictions were lifted, just people went back to just being completely reckless. I'm like, y'all didn't learn anything, did y'all? It's true. Voltaire was right when he said common sense isn't so common. But then again, even now, I still wear the mask.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I still wear the mask even when I go out because, hey, I'm still being careful. I mean, I'm not vaccinated for my own reasons, but I still wear the mask because one, summertime, I do have grass allergies. And I got to protect me, and that's one of the main reasons. Other than that, I just don't trust certain people.
Right.
Because like I said, common sense isn't common, but at least the masks I wear are, they're quite colorful. So I don't scare anybody.
You're right about that. And like you said, you mask for your own reasons. My mom still masks. She goes out. And so, yeah, you do it for your reason, things like that. But I think at the same time, people have to understand something that we should learn from our experience. We should learn more about ourselves. Once again, we have more alike than us being disliking each other. We have more in common than it being uncommon. But I think, again, that takes the time to sit down, to get to know somebody that you're probably not familiar with, the things that takes discipline to do something like that. And I don't think a lot of people have that. I think it's easy to embrace a lie than to embrace the whole truth. Sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes lies hurt too. So I think it depends. Like, I used to tell people all the time, like, well, Base, what do you think about this? I used to give them an option. Do you want me to tell you the truth or lie to you? I can lie to you and make you feel good. And I can tell you the truth and I might hurt some feelings. Not to hurt feelings, but some people don't want to hear what you have to say. I think society dictates that we should be obviously kind and respectable to each other, but I think a lot of people just don't want it. They do it because society dictates. I think deep down inside, they don't want to do it at all. They just don't.
Yeah.
So I think the thing is to retrain yourself and don't ask a person what they really think and don't even mention it. And that way your feelings are spared and you won't be heartbroken.
That's why, not to mention some people just don't have a level of tact when they speak. There are times where you got to be a straight shooter, and there are times when you got to be a little more tactful. And you got to be more, be more cautious with your words.
Yeah.
That's why they say sometimes certain situations, like if you remember, like in the beginning of 300, when that emissary went to meet Leonidas, when he was asked what he wants, before he opened his mouth, Leonidas said to him, "Choose your words wisely."
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It reminds me of, what was it, Indiana Jones, what was that movie he did?
Which one?
The third one he did.
The Temple of Doom, was it?
Was it? Say that again?
Oh, no, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That was the first one. It was that. It was
the first one?
The first one, and then the second one was Temple of Doom. Hold on, I'll check real quick. So, oh man, I hate getting old. So hold on, let me see. Jones.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom. It was the one after the Temple of Doom.
Okay.
So let's see. Here we go. The Last Crusade. That was it.
Oh, right. The Last Crusade. All right.
Right. That was the one he did with Sean Connery playing his father. So when Indy was trying to find the chalice, the cup of Christ,
the Holy Grail. Yes.
Right.
Holy Grail.
And so there's these various chalice and holy grails that he had to choose from. And the knight who was there to protect, he said, choose, but choose wisely.
Yeah.
And once again, media always spoke to me. And when I saw that, that spoke to me about life. Choose, but choose wisely. And I think sometimes we choose, but not the wise part. And that can make a difference completely in one's life and in general.
I remember growing up, one important lesson I learned is like, when it came to choosing wisely, was like, you know, I learned from my father was like, you know, because when I was a kid, he would take me with him to an electronics store every once in a while. And I carried those, and I watched him, observed how he was interacting with the salespeople and everything. And I took those lessons. I also remember going clothes shopping with my mother and learning how to haggle.
Yes.
And those lessons helped me into choosing what to say, what not to say when interacting with people, and also developing good relationships, and also making good choices in what I do or what I purchase or what I need, because I have to make a wise choice. Because the wisest choice means it's not just for the immediate gratification, but it's also going to benefit you in the long term.
Right.
Some people just don't understand that, you know, your actions today have consequences, or no, your actions today will affect what happens to your life tomorrow.
Correct.
But that's life for you. I mean, some people just so focused, like they say, live in the moment. Be present, but also learn to think several steps ahead. I mean, this is why, you know, kids should be taught how to play chess, checkers. There's a Chinese game called Guo. What that does is, like, you understand different types of strategies and how to you know, conduct yourself accordingly. I mean, it's the same thing when you put kids in combat sports, like teach them boxing, kickboxing. Because like in boxing, what happens? Like kickboxing, what happens? You learn how to adjust in the fight. Like if you're fighting a southpaw, there's one way to deal with him. If he's a tall, lanky, it says if he's a tall, rangy fighter, you got to learn how to fight that. If he's a short, stocky fighter, and you have superior reach, you got to learn how to fight him differently.
Right.
If he's a counterpuncher, how do you fight that? If he's a brawler, how do you fight that? You know, you learn. There's different approaches to different people in different situations.
That's true.
You know,
you mentioned about kickboxing.
Just like with
yeah, go ahead.
Just like Jeet Kune Do.
Yes.
When you brought up, you know, Jeet Kune Do, you know, because, by the way, a lot of people forget that Bruce Lee was also a college graduate. He had a degree in philosophy.
That's true.
And that influence, and that, you know, and people ask me, why'd you study philosophy? Because you need to know how to think, how to feel, which is why he said you have to be like water.
Yes, be like water.
Be like water, my friend.
Yes.
When you fill it in a cup, it becomes a cup. When you put it in the pot, it becomes a pot. Now, it can flow or crash. Be formless, my friend.
Yes. I like the interview that you mentioned, because when he says crash, I felt that. I'm like, yeah, that's that power of Bruce coming out, even in his wording, when he mentioned that. Let me get to the conversation real quick, and we'll continue.
Oh, by the way.
So Katrina says, Doc BaseLine stream, strike the key. Thank you so much. I see all these phrases about me striking keys and stuff like that. I get a kick out of it. Don't get me wrong, it tickles me. So thank you, Doc Sanders, for the enlightenment of me striking keys and things like that. Bruce Lee. So, as I said, love Bruce Lee from day one. I remember when I was coming up, they had a lot of Bruce Lee imitators. Kind of similar to what Elvis went through, like the Elvis imitators. It was sick. You had like Bruce Lie, that's an obvious giveaway. L.I., then you had a L.I.E., then you had the other imitators. Then they had Dragon Lee, all these other people. Like
Dragon Lee.
It was, I mean, it broke my heart, because when we was coming up and we got into martial arts, rarely did a Bruce Lee movie come out until let's see. I want to see probably after, from my timeline, Game of Death. So I begged my parents to me to see Game of Death. I was on my best behavior. I said I'll put in my own allowance into it, and they were very kind and took me to see Game of Death. I'm sorry I put my parents through the shit. It was a horrible movie.
Hey.
It sucked and it swallowed. It broke my heart because, again, they banked and got all the money because all you saw was excerpts from his other movies. They edited his older movies and put it into the Game of Death, and then the footage that they had from the Game of Death, they put that towards the end to make sure you don't want to walk out the theater. So it was just horrible editing. This is way before the advancement of CGI, stuff like that. If it came out now, it would have been a better production product. Back then, it was just, oh my, you could tell the splicing and editing. It just, it was horrid. And again, as a Bruce Lee fan, you didn't see really Bruce until when he wears the yellow, jumpsuit with the black stripe on the sides. And
the iconic one, yeah.
Oh, see, that footage, most people understand now. A lot of those action movies, they film the action part first, and then the acting later on, then, of course, edit all together. So they were able to get their hands on some of the scenes he did before he passed, and it was just a horrible movie. I damn sat there and cried. I could not take it. Don't get me wrong, we got up there and it was actually him. Yes, I was happy. We all applauded. But it was a horrible movie. And it really was not what his movie design storyline was. The Warner Brothers had made their own storyline. It wasn't what he had envisioned for the movie. So they really bastardized it, and I was broken hearted. Now, after that, they started the same movie theater. I used to go to the Rhodes movie theater on the south side, 39th and Rhodes. And after that, they would from time to time have the Bruce Lee film festivals. So then they actually showed like real Bruce Lee movies. So the ones I mentioned, actually I like the original title. So it was like The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon. Man, when he's in Fist of Fury and he goes to the Japanese dojo and he has that epic battle with the Japanese fighters, and he puts on his coat and he says the following: I'm going to say this one time, we are not sick men. Man, we lost our gore because the way he said it, and what's going to scene was they had got these Chinese characters and gave it to them on the death of their leader, their sensei, and the sign says "Sick Men of Asia." So Lee took that same sign, brought it back to them, and obviously fought them. He told him, it's like, because one guy said, "I'll eat those words." He actually broke the glass from where the Chinese character says "Sick Men of Asia," tore it off, gave the two of them, and told them to eat it. And they did, about eating those words. But just the fact that he said we are not sick men, to us, that spoke to us as Black children dealing with racism.
Absolutely.
And
but I look at that. But the irony about it was this. First of all, Bruce was not pure Chinese, by the way. Growing up in Hong Kong, he dealt with a whole lot of racism because, like, his mother, his maternal grandfather was actually white European, most likely German, and he got picked on about that growing up. But eventually, growing up in Hong Kong, he did eventually meet Ip Man, who taught him Wing Chun and everything. And I've seen also the Ip Man movies with Donnie Yang, but Bruce had to learn how to like overcome that. And when the movies like you said, Fist of Fury, The Big Boss, and when those came out, even though this was in Hong Kong, people were like talking about Chinese nationalism, how he was a hero of the Chinese, despite the fact that he grew up not feeling Chinese.
Right.
And in that infamous interview where he was asked about being formless like water, when the interviewer asked him, "How would you like to be seen?" He said, "How do I want to be seen? I want to be seen as a human being." He wanted to transcend national identity and whatnot, but He said, I'm better than that. And that film in particular, you know, you were dealing with a lot of tension. There was still like, you know, Chinese were still kind of like mad at Japan because of what happened, you know, in the 1930s and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you still had those types of tensions. But then again, people forget that the history of that region, how Japanese, Chinese, Koreans, and other nations have all intertwined, and they all have their animosities somewhat. But he wanted to transcend that by saying, I want to be seen as a human being.
He's right.
Nothing more, nothing less. I'm a person. And the fact that, you know, a lot of people gave him flack because, you know, he was in an interracial marriage and had 2 children from it. But, you know, Linda, oh, that reminds me.
Yeah.
You talk about people who were inspired by Bruce Lee. You ever heard the comedian Steve Byrne?
Say his name again. Steve
Byrne, Birne. Steve Byrne.
Doesn't come to mind. About him.
Now, yeah, he's a Korean American. He's of Irish and Korean in descent. He jokingly once said, like, you know, my father's Irish, my mother's Korean, so that makes me Caucasian. You know, but one of his trademark jokes was he would say, like, you know, we all loved watching Bruce Lee, you know, kicking people, you know, whooping people's butts, but we all felt sorry for Linda Lee because she had to have sex with this guy. So he would do an impression of sex in the Bruce Lee household, only it turns into a kung fu fight.
Okay.
Good funny clips on that one. Just like the best one he did was like, you know, when he was like touring the country, he would like have people do the accents and he'd do the voice and they'd be out of sync, just like, you know, in the old kung fu movies. And, you know, and my favorite one was when he had the comedian Artie Fuqua help him out in one of them. And that was one of the best ones, best impressions. If you can find it, that'd be great. But as far as Bruce goes, like, you know, like I said about the nationalism. Oh, I just remembered. I also remember, if you ever watched the Bruce Lee documentary.
Which one?
Like everybody talking about. There was one where they were interviewing a lot of people. His daughter was among the people. I remember Kobe Bryant, some mixed martial artists, and everybody talking about.
I haven't seen that one. I saw one before that, but go ahead.
Yeah. Judo, Gene LaBelle was in it. And he made a point to say, like, if Bruce Lee is the father of MMA, then I'm the granddaddy of it. And if you don't like it, come see me outside. I've got a fistful of 50s, a fistful of greenbacks to put on the line.
Now, who said
there was that? Judo, Gene LaBelle.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Judo, Gene LaBelle said that, you know, later in his life. God rest his soul.
Right.
And I also remember watching a documentary called The Golden Harvest, which talked about the, you know, the production company in Hong Kong that produced all those great those kung fu movies.
Right.
So learning about the history of them and the business aspect and why things were the way they were, that that makes sense why everything happened the way it did. But when you also mentioned the Bruce Lee impersonators and whatnot, thank God Jackie Chan struck out on his own and created his own thing.
Yeah, Yeah, go ahead.
Because Jackie realized he's not going to be Bruce. He's not like Bruce. Because he said, like, basically, Bruce will give you a straight punch and look at you seriously. Jackie, no, he'll punch you and then shake his hand in pain. Because he realized his niche is in slapstick comedy. And he also understood like his ability to create some of the most outlandish fight choreographies. Like in Operation Condor, where he's fighting several people and he incorporates a ladder. Or one time he's like fighting inside of an apartment building and they kept going through from one room to another with the sliding doors.
Mm-hmm.
Or the fight with he and Chris Tucker in the second Rush Hour movie, and they're fighting at the massage parlor.
Right.
That's how he learned that, Bruce was his idol. Bruce was somebody he looked up to because that was his big brother. But he had to come into his own. Like everybody starts out trying to emulate their idol, but eventually come out on their own. Prime example is what's his name? Bob Dylan. He started out, playing like his idol Woody Guthrie. But eventually he came into his own.
Yes.
He couldn't do the same thing as Woody Guthrie, so he had to learn how to sing on his own.
And that's usually how it goes again. Use somebody as a template in all forms of life you allow yourself to as a template, and then eventually you find your own voice. So going back to Bruce, I remember years ago, a friend of mine asked me if I want to interview this director. So this director put together this documentary. The name escaped me, it's been so long ago. But I was given a time elapse of the documentary. It was sent from my email, and I watched it. And being a Bruce Lee fan, I was always intrigued. I got to interview the guy later. But what I liked about part of the interview was this one person said that he went over to Bruce's house, and Bruce was watching Muhammad Ali on 8mm, and he's watching him dance, and he's watching him, do his thing in the ring. And his friend asked him, "Why are you watching Muhammad Ali?" And he turns around missing the beat, "Because I want to fight him." And what could have happened was Bruce Lee wanted to fight Muhammad Ali for charity. And just those two epic figures in real time in the 70s, that would have been major. Because as I was telling some young, what I call young Thundercats, years ago, we had real life heroes, superheroes. So for example, we had Evel Knievel doing all that, daredevil stunt work he did on his motorcycles. We had Muhammad Ali. We had Bruce Lee, all in real time. In real time. So we had these great heroes to look up to and admire. But just the fact about the possibility of Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee fighting together for charity, oh my God, it would have been lights out.
A lot of people also don't know this, but the martial art Jeet Kune Do, it takes elements of other forms of martial arts.
Correct.
Like it takes foot position of fencing, boxing. Let's not forget. People also forget when he was growing up in Hong Kong. Bruce did ballroom dancing.
That's right.
He was a cha-chi. He knew how to cha-cha. He was a ballroom dancing champ at one time, and he was nearsighted. And the reason he was called the Dragon is because he was born during the Chinese year of the Dragon. That was his Chinese sign, by the way. It wasn't just a name. And he understood movement and everything. That's why, like in that interview, like I said about being shapeless, like everything, he said, this is what he talked about, why he no longer believes in styles of Kung Fu, like, Wing Chun, Mantis, Dragon, Monkey style, like that. No. You have to, and this is why he also decided to fight Southpaw, because he believed like you should lead with your strong side instead of your weak side. And it made sense. It made perfect, and it made sense that way, because that was part of his philosophical outlook.
He was a dynamic,
but also looking at practical about it.
Yeah, he really was. He was out this world. So hold on one second. Hold on one second. Let me. This is my nephew. I usually don't take this call during the. Hold on one second. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, what now? Oh yeah, I'm doing my show right now. Just come on in. Okay, thank you, sir. All right, bye-bye. Yeah, usually don't pick up, but that's my nephew, so I just want to make sure everything was cool. So
that's understandable. How old is your nephew?
He's 14.
Oh, he's getting there in age. He's getting there.
Yeah, he's getting tall.
Puberty.
Yeah, he's getting tall. Yeah. He's about my height now, and I'm 6 feet. So he's about 5'11", 6 feet, and I think he'll be about 6'6" when it's over with. I think he'll get that tall because his parents are tall.
I can believe that.
6 feet, 6'1", so there you go.
My mother, I remember when I was his age, I was like pushing to be 6 feet. I didn't reach 6 feet till I was like 15. But different country, different situation, different circumstances. But anyway, back to the. But hey, he's good. He's gonna get there eventually.
Yeah. So
we're going back to Bruce.
Lee, again, the documentary I was watching when I was about to interview the director who put it together. And I agree with this. Had Bruce Lee lived, he would have been on Dancing with the Stars because you just mentioned about his background. That would have been nice. He would have won the ball, the mirror ball, hands down. Hands down. I think it would have just it would be no competition.
Oh, he could cha-cha, he could dance and everything. That people were surprised, like he could move like that. But then again, here's somebody who also learned to dance. Are you familiar with the boxer Vitaly Lomachenko?
Yes.
Ukrainian boxer. His father Anatoly, when he was teaching his boy he was teaching his son how to box. The first thing he did was, when he was young, because he had him enroll in a dance troupe, so he learned Ukrainian folk dance and everything. That improved his footwork and everything, and understand timing and everything.
Right.
So he would be, so he would understand positioning, movement, footwork. And so when he mastered that at 13, that's when he started training him in boxing. But in the meantime, he was also training his boy in other things, because he wasn't just learning how to box. As a kid, he learned how to wrestle. So yeah, Lomachenko learned freestyle wrestling as a kid. He also learned the Russian grappling art of sambo, because those were important to him, because he wanted this boy to be all healthy, defend himself, and all roundedness. And Lomachenko became quite a great accomplished boxer that way. That's why he fights southpaw, and that's why sometimes when he's taunting, he starts doing a little jig and everything, because he's got the hips for it, and he understands foot position and everything from his father. I mean, that's why he has a tattoo on his torso of a portrait of his father, because Anatoly Lomachenko had such great foresight of preparing his son to become the man that he is, and one day he will become a champion again.
I did not know that. I gotta move on, but always I did not know that. Thank you for enlightening me on the whole Pachenko thing. And again, real quick, the thing about that is, like everything that a person learns, you're gonna do it in time. You may not know it, depending on who you are and where you are in your life. You may not know it's gonna come into play somewhere. Before about the dancing, before about learning about movement and things of that nature. It's going to benefit you tremendously. And just the fact that he had a father that can do that, going back to Bruce and cha-cha dancing and knowing about that, it helps you along the way. Only gonna make you better. Sig, as always, brother, thank you for taking the time out to be here and share everything, man. And you have a fantastic week, man. Thank you so much, bro.
Likewise, and I will finish with this. One little bit. Muhammad Ali, if you want to understand where he learned the gift of gab, it was from watching professional wrestling. When he was young, he met Gorgeous George, and Gorgeous George knew he had potential. And he looked what he told him. He said, "Listen, a lot of people gonna hate you, and they're gonna want to see you get knocked out. So here's what you got to do. Always remember, keep it classy, keep it sassy, but always be outrageous." That's why he was always the greatest with the mouth. That's why his nickname was the Louisville Lip, the greatest. You have a great weekend, bro. Love you.
You too, Sig. Thanks again. Take care. Sig Diggy, again, coming through the link there. Thank you so much. As we go back to the comment, hey, how you doing, Ann? Good afternoon, Chris, Base Nation, and Sig Diggy. Thank you again, Sig. Thank you, Ann, for being on board. Because now here's the dinner menu. Let's see, fried perch fish sandwich with white onions, mayo, lettuce, and homemade mashed potatoes. Dessert, cherry lemonade cake with vanilla ice cream. Okay, never heard about the cake before. That's interesting. Go back again for the cheap seats. Fried perch fish sandwich with white onions, mayo, and lettuce, and homemade mashed potatoes. Dessert, strawberry lemonade cake with vanilla ice cream. Not too shabby. That's all right with that. I think my sister's fixing catfish. I'm not really a catfish fan, so I might take a pass on dinner. I eat the French fries though. But I can't do catfish. I can't do it. ESPN has cut ties with NFL Hall of Famer and media analyst Shannon Sharpe less than 2 weeks after he settled a lawsuit in which his ex-girlfriend accused him of rape. Sources briefed the decision, told the Athletic on Wednesday. Sharpe has not been on ESPN since late April when the suit was first filed. He said at the time that he would return to ESPN at the beginning of the NFL training camp. ESPN declined to comment. The woman known as Jane Doe in the suit was seeking $50 million for her pain and suffering, psychological and emotional distress, mental anguish, embarrassment, and humiliation. Sharp publicly denied the allegations immediately after his accuser filed the suit in April, calling the case a shakedown attempt. He has maintained that he and the Nevada woman were in consensual sexual relationship. Since retiring from the NFL, Sharp, 57, has had a long media career, first as an NFL studio analyst and then a sports talk host on FS1, where he rose to greater prominence, debating Skip Bayless on Undisputed. After the run ended in 2023, Sharp joined First Take as a twice-weekly foil for Screaming A. Smith. Yeah, I go along with that one. Sealing the lawsuit definitely destroyed Sharp's chances with the ESPN 6 types. Yeah, just the fact that he had to step away, that happens from time to time. I give you that. But then to have it settled out of court, that didn't look good either. I understand. Let's pay out of court. That way you wanted to pay an extraordinarily amount of money. But still, it does look kind of guilty in the eyes of the public. And of course, in the eyes of your boss at ESPN, they're not going to tolerate that. So you were let go. Now, it's funny because you go back and watch the videos when he was doing Club Shay Shay, comedians like Cat Williams, and especially Monique, told him to stay away from the trap. Told him, especially Monique. Monique was like, stop missing these young girls out here. These girls in their 20s and 30s. Get you an old woman. What you saying, somebody your age at 57 or older or in that age range. That's what you pretty much tell them. Get you a woman that will greet you when you come home at night. That will have a meal for you. That will, rub your back and rub your feet. Let an old woman love you old. I never forget that. I was laughing my ass off, but she was right. But no, he wanted to deal with these young chicks. Dare I say, young white girls. That's the thing about it. So, yeah, you got to be careful. What they call them, snow bunnies? Yeah, you're in the snow. Be careful. Same with Cat Williams. I was paraphrasing what Cat was saying about white women approaching him. He has to go in the opposite direction and stay away from that and stay away from the trap. You may not think you're being trapped, but yeah, it happens. And not saying a woman of color wouldn't do it. It's just that his history has shown that. Because it was funny because prior to the lawsuit that happened, there was a rumor online about Shannon Sharp being gay. Which, me personally, I don't give two damns. I got my own life to live. I don't think about people's lives. But some people put that much energy into somebody else's life and say that person is gay. So fucking what? But let's get back to the matter at hand. So soon after these people online questioning his sexuality, remember that tape that was allegedly leaked? That tape, I think, was bullshit. So all of a sudden, this tape is released. It's him having allegedly sex with a woman, and he didn't know his recorder was on from Instagram. He didn't know the camera was on. That didn't sound too kosher to me. It didn't sound too kosher to me at all. So I figured, okay, Doc, I mean, you're just trying to so-called get in front of this rumor about you being gay. So what? What do you care? I think he even addressed it at one point. So what people think. At the time you're making your money, damn what they're thinking. His brand was doing pretty good. So damn what they're thinking about Shannon Sharp. So what? Remember that still picture of him coming out of this SUV? He had on a tracksuit and a case around his shoulder and everything else, and the way he was looking. Well, yeah, you get out of a car or anything, you look disheveled because you're trying to get yourself together coming out of a car or SUV, I dare. Plus, I think the man had not one but 2 hip surgeries, 2 hip replacements. So you're not going to walk your best either or look your best. So you know, saying how zesty he was and stuff like that. So what? And the so-called videotape of Shannon Sharpe having sex with a woman, he didn't know the Instagram camera was on. I call bullshit on that. I wasn't going to believe it, and I still don't. Now you fast forward to this lawsuit and ESPN letting his ass go. Yeah, it didn't look good, man. Sharpe was warned. It smells trap. Yeah. Yeah. I go along with that. Hey, hey man, that's my good friend Rachel Montgomery. How you doing, Rachel? What's up? How you doing? What's on your mind? Yeah. And I like Shannon. I liked him, for example. Well, first of all, the first time I saw Shannon was on ESPN. It was on a version of First Take. In fact, it was him and Skip Bayless, both used to work for ESPN. And then went over to, of course, FS1, Fox Sports 1. That's when his notoriety started to come up and everything. I didn't like the crap he would do when he would put his hair in a stocking cap, start smoking, or put a black and mild in his mouth and bring out some yak or something like that. It could be Cavassier, whatever. I didn't like those acts. I thought it was really, how can I say this? It was real coonery and buffoonery. I'll go with that. I didn't like that at all. Outside of that, he was really becoming a good analyst, because when he was on ESPN the first time, oh my God, he was weak. He was very green. He needed a lot of work. But over the years, he got really better. And as a sports fan, I started to see his growth, and I appreciate that. Especially going after dumbass Skip Bayless. I hate Skip Bayless. I just Skip Clueless, I would call him. So yeah, he would go after him and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty cool. And then eventually he just got you seen the blow-ups that he would have about Skip kissing Tom Brady's ass all the goddamn time. And talking about he's a 7-time, this and everything. I was like, but dude, you sit across with somebody who's in the Hall of Fame. You sit across with somebody what got 3 championships at the time. I don't mind. I was all with Shannon Sharpe losing his mind, going to get. That's what happens to certain people. That's what happens to certain people, like a Skip Clueless, who I talk about name calling. I'm a name calling people myself. I don't know. You get my drift. Anyway, who never played the sport, but yet want to be highly critical of people when they have some sort of power of being a sports writer. Not respecting it, and low-key hating. Low-key haterade. We say, Richard, come on now. That tracksuit was too small, LOL. Okay, yes, it was. I don't begrudge the man that. If he wants to wear a medium, then go ahead. He wants to buy all the mediums on Amazon, medium shirts, then there you go. I go along with that, but still it just gets to a point where it's you look for people. This is about sports broadcasting too, and online. Look for people with some sort of credibility. At least I do. At least I try to, from the credibility standpoint. I try. Because again, you can't take them seriously if they don't have that type of credibility behind their name, standing on business and things like that. But everybody has their favorites. Skip Bayless is a mean-spirited little troll, nothing more. Sick type, absolutely, yes. Yes and yes. So going back to Shannon Sharpe, yeah, he was warned. Some people don't think fat meat is greasy. And this is what you have, unfortunately. Eddie Murphy was on the Today Show with Al Roker and announced that he will become the next Inspector Clouseau in a Pink Panther movie. Now, I don't know if it's going to be geared towards Inspector Clouseau or the Pink Panther theme, or maybe the two go together. We'll see. Congratulations to him. I think he'll be a great Inspector Clouseau. And here's why. Peter Sellers, who was the original Inspector Clouseau, was stone cold genius. It was his creation. And he did a bang-up job as the original Inspector Clouseau. Now, having said that, years later, you had Steve Martin, years ago, taking the helm. And Steve Martin did not do a good job. And I love Steve Martin, but he did an awful job playing the Inspector. But Eddie Murphy, that's a whole different animal. Eddie Murphy, I can see, because in the clip I was watching when Eddie makes the announcement about being next Inspector Clouseau, he starts to get into character right in front of Al Roker with the accent, type of thing, And I think Al Roker was referring to his French accent, and then he, meaning Eddie Murphy, said could be Haitian. So I don't know if that was a red herring or not, just to throw him off track, but just the fact you have a new audience, new people, new generation, probably never heard of the Pink Panther, can be ushered in through the character that Eddie Murphy is about to portray. That could be cool. I wish him the very best, because I love Inspector Clouseau. I love what Peter Sellers did. I read an article about, there was a Peter Sellers movie that he did that somebody had to replace him in that character. Let's go to the phones. Say hello to Gus. How you doing, Gus?
Well, not as good as I want to, but I just wanted to touch base with you. No. I'm in some difficulties because, being a senior citizen, I mean, that's prejudicial because of my age, I'm in my 70s. Mm-hmm. I'm having trouble with dealing with hospital bills and all this other stuff. And I make a good buck because I worked most of my life hard like you did. So I get a very good pension and Social Security and all this other stuff. But the money's ate up as soon as it comes in because I'm paying these damn medical bills. And I can't get any help because they say, well, you make too much money. Well, if I make so much money, I don't have it. And I'm paying these medical bills. That's why I don't have it. Chris, I'm very frustrated. And this, he's not 47. He's 46 and a half. He's not that good. And I didn't mean to make it into a joke, but it's
no, you're true, good.
Yeah. And I'm very frustrated because I know your listeners, and I consider my listeners because I do with that, but I don't know what to do. And I can't get help because I'm over 65, right. Which you know. And because of my over being 65, I have to be in Medicare and they have supplements. And they tell me, you meet your deductible. And for mine, it's only like $400. Well, it's a lot, but it's still, hey. Right. But the problem is, they say, well, Medicare or the supplement will pay. I got Medicare Advantage. They'll pay 90%. Medicare pays 80%, and they pay the other 10%. And then you got to pay your 10%. And I told you before, I mean, I had Advent, and all the hospitals are with Advent, most of them in the Chicago metropolitan area. Oh, and they are unrealistic. Oh, wow. I mean, the last hospital stay that I had, a week and a half, and they couldn't tell me what's wrong. I mean, that's costing me almost $2,500 my cost. And I can't get no help because they tell me I make too much money. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
And I'm hoping that, that you don't have the particular problem. But health is very important to all of us. I shouldn't be aggressively and repetitive to the point of repugnancy, but 47 don't give a shit about nothing.
No.
Right. He's cutting funding, and I'm a Vietnam veteran.
That's right.
And I will not go to a VA hospital or go back to the VA for medical treatment because it's bad. It's bad. It's really horrible. Some people say it's okay, but I know better. Right. They already ruined me. And he's not giving them funding. He's cutting staff, and then they're not compliant to this. And if I didn't have my home paid for, I'd be homeless. You know what I mean?
Right, I understand.
And I don't know what we're going to do as a people, because I want to get rid of this guy. I really do, and I don't know how to do it. I really don't know. I tried. There's no, when you start talking about him, you can't maintain your civility. Because I get aggravated with him. And I apologize. I don't mean to do that to you.
I understand.
So, and I see what you and Pastor Donovan are doing. You're trying to help people, but wow, we're getting nailed to the cross. Again, it's not Republican or Democrat. Look what this mayor is doing for the city of Chicago. Nothing.
Yeah.
And he was a union representative with me.
Right.
He was with the Chicago Teachers Union, and I was within the Amalgamated Transit Union. And he was a different person back when he was negotiating with the system. Now he's totally different because he's the mayor. I don't know what's going on with this guy. I hope you can tell me, because I don't know.
I have no idea. I just know that when people, for example, in politics, just stating the obvious, that they say these things to get elected, and they get elected, and it's like later for you. I used you. I got where I am. I got my own personal agendas. I want to get
with you.
Yeah, and that's what they do. And so, even people I thought that can help you or me or anybody else, they need help. Because, they're out here, trying to get help for themselves and things like that. And I try to make a few phone calls here and there over the years, and either they don't work in the industry anymore, or they lost the power that they had. So everybody's hurting to some degree. And I just think that when you try your best to do what's right, unfortunately, there's millions of people who are doing what's wrong. And the people who are doing what's wrong are places of power. And that's where it gets dangerous at, because we don't need people who are doing wrong. We need people doing right. And that's where it gets mixed in the whole lexicon, the whole thing, because all you're trying to do is survive at this point. And when people don't want to help you in survival, then there really is nothing more we can do. And I hate to be like that, but these people just don't have a heart. You don't have to have a heart. Just do what's right, and they can't do it.
No, they can't. They can't. And we already know. And I don't like putting out the race card, but this guy is horrible. Yeah. He does not like working people. As a matter of fact, I can see the way he treats, black and brown people. And of course, my people are from, I'm descendant, they're from Europe. But he don't like nobody. He don't even like himself. And to get him to come forward and see what the whole point is, he never did anything. I keep saying to people, and you're pushing it on, and you're allowing me to vent. I'm very frustrated because he's doing executive privilege. He's using these executive orders, and his whole cabinet is under investigation. Every last one of them. And why aren't we reacting to that? What's wrong with this?
And I said before, in the first hour, Gus, about this whole thing with him and the Jeffrey Epstein tapes and files.
Oh, that's another one. That's another.
The thing about this society is that the society has become normalized to his bad behavior. They think it's no big deal. It's just how he operates. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. Say, for example, his name is released from the Epstein files, and he is accused of being a pedophile. people be okay with it. You wouldn't hear that much uproar. Okay. And he would empower people who are pedophiles. I kid you not. He's already empowered the racism people, already empowered people who are elite. He's already empowered, of course, the millionaires getting the cut and things like that. So if you go on that type of thinking, then why not, which is sick, why not people be empowered who are pedophiles? Why? Because the president's a pedophile. If that comes out, we're going backwards. We're going backwards in the time. I swear to God.
And this guy is supposed to be almost 80 years old, and I'm in that age group right now. But I'm 75.
Yep.
So what's going on here?
Right.
And I majored in political science. I know what's wrong with the system, but I can't change it. I can't change it at all. I wish I could.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our people, even though, unfortunately, our vote doesn't change until we can get the political activists, the pundits, to change the format so that they can go with the populist vote. We can get away from the electoral college so that now they can start dealing with us as the people. They're not going to do that right now because they're all getting a piece of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
And this is horrible. And the piece of the pie they're fighting over, well, the bakery that's creating the pie is going bankrupt. So you tell me what's wrong with that. If this guy here is saying that his budgetary principles are good, I'm having trouble paying for my medicine. I'm having trouble getting food and stuff.
Right.
No, he's not doing anything. He's not doing nothing. No. And I really wish, well, I know you feel, and I'm sorry for my venting.
No, you're good.
I'm very frustrated with this guy because he's hurting me, and I'm a veteran.
Yes, you are.
And the last interview, I heard this before, to repugnancy because it's so repetitive. Me and others who served are suckers. Oh, I'm never going to forget that one. And you know I'm not wrong on that one because he did say that, didn't he?
He did. Yes, he did.
Him who never served, him who never did nothing, and lived off of free rides. He took other people's money and screwed it up.
That's right.
I don't know what they see in this guy. Maybe you can tell me, but I don't know what people see in him. I have no idea.
I'll say this. They see the evil in themselves. You have to, because how can you sign off on this man? How can you agree with his behavior pattern? How can you go along with it unless you yourself happen to be evil? I mean, that's it. It's I told you from day one, it's a damn, people who follow him is like an occult. It's a cult.
Well,
CULT, a cult.
He's so critical of President Obama, because he was President Obama, 2-time president-elect, and he did a lot of good. A lot. And me being a union representative, the first legislation was January of 2009. It was only in office. He just got in. His first legislation was the Fair Pay Act, a little bit better Fair Pay Act to help people. What does this guy do?
Right.
What did he ever sign in legislation that he did? He's not signing anything in legislation because he's doing it behind the scenes. He's doing the executive orders and he's doing what he wants to do. And I'm trying to find out, and I'm letting you guys know because I'm trying to get myself together. My health was not as good as I want, but I want to find out what his executive orders are so far, so I can let all of you know, and our viewers, and your viewers, and mine too. Because I want them to know what this guy is doing, what he's signing behind everybody's back. Oh, this guy. And he's been in office, and I hear his proponents. Well, give him time. Get out. He's nothing but lies and thievery. He hasn't done anything in his first term, and now he's again in there again. So I don't see his plans taking. I don't see the economy changing. I don't see jobs getting better. I don't see Medicare doing good. I don't see people. People are fighting now just to live. And I hear people that they want to buy their medicine. They're not buying food. These are seniors. You hear that?
No, To me, as we said before, the same conversation before, Gus, this is when we need to huddle.
For me being so repetitive.
No, I understand. No, we need to understand more of each other and huddle amongst each other, because we can't trust these people. We can't. So we got to find some way, hopefully, to help each other, to help get amongst ourselves, because we're getting too screwed over this current government. And this current government is eradicating everything, not some things, everything that makes democracy, once upon a time ago, a good thing to have. But not these days. Now when it comes to him.
More. No, not more.
No, not now.
As I said before, look at these other nations. Italy, France, okay? Britain, they're doing better than us.
Yes.
Canada. The Prime Minister Canada, I forget what they call him. What he said, because you did this tariff stuff, now we're having trouble because now his nation and other nations are reneging on us. Now we're in trouble because of his tariff.
Right.
Oh, what a moron.
Moron is right. And that's an insult to morons.
Yeah, I know.
Gus, I'm running overtime. I gotta take off, but I know you. I hear your frustration in your voice. I'm sorry that you're going through all this, but man, just thank you for calling and sharing with us. And if we need to call in here, just I could be a springboard. Get off your chest.
Well,
you know you have a home.
I just want the people to know what's going on. It's not for just me, because seniors. I mean, us seniors, we're living on fixed incomes. Okay.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And he's not doing anything to make our lives easier or healthy.
Right.
And we're getting hit with medical. We're getting hit with all of these things, with utilities and everything else. We're not getting any breaks. He don't give a flying bing about nothing.
Right.
This guy, every excellence that you can think should apply to this guy. Oh, yeah, I apologize again, because I know I'm bending too low. My dear brother and friend, I appreciate everything about you. I still hate your lamp, though.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. I talked to my lamp. And,
I know you did.
Right. And he cannot wait. He cannot wait. So he cannot wait. I told him I said, Gus hates your guts, and he's like, I hate him more. So
you gotta let your light know this ain't going 15. Right. I'll tell you now, it's not going 15.
Man, Gus, man, you take care, brother. I'll talk to you later on.
I apologize for tuning in so late, but
you're all right.
I just wanted to talk to you, brother, man. And you've been a very, very pleasant experience, and wow, I've always supported you and people in general. But this guy's got me so aggravated. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm very, very.
I support you too, Gus. You try to hang in there, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, you have a good day.
All right, you too, brother. Take care. Bye-bye. And again, with Gus, and it's like what Sick had typed in about, can hear the frustration. Yeah, we all can. And it's one of those things where you want to be positive, and you can be a positive person. The situation is negative. I used to get that a lot myself. Oh, Chris, you're just a negative. I keep telling people, no, let's get the viewpoint straight. I'm a very positive person. You don't believe me? Ask my family. I've always been a positive, upbeat person, but I hate negativity. And so you can't kill the messenger. If the situation is negative, I ain't negative. Situation is negative. And life has a way of beating your ass. It does. Life don't give a damn sometimes. Life will beat you down, and it goes back to Rocky Balboa. When Rocky's talking to his son outside of Adrian's, the restaurant that he owned, named after his late wife. Life will beat you down if you let it. I'm paraphrasing the speech, but the key thing is to get back up and keep moving forward. That's what winning is all about. So it's not easy to win. All these people coming at you, they'll beat the entire fuck out of you, which is what their goal is. Gotta find a way to keep moving forward. It ain't easy, Doc. This thing called life, Nothing to sneeze at. Let's see. What's up, Walters? Oh, shit. I got off work late. Start over. Well, tell you what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to end the show. Thank you, all of you, for being a part of the program today. Means a lot to me. Went into overtime, so thank you for hanging there, going to overtime. I'm going again. Shout out to my man Wise and Real Wise Radio, and once again, thank you again for the Facebook badge that I received for Conversation Starter badge for starting engaging conversations and producing inspiring content. Thank you for making that happen. It doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you so much. And so let's see, before we break company, do something positive. I always say that if you're able to do something positive in a world of negativity, then do it. Then do it, because at least we're not subscribing to what's out here. We can counterbalance that by not having it affect us. If we allow ourselves to affect us, then we're just as bad as everybody else from that perspective. Fight against it. It's very simple if you're a good person to begin with. Counterbalance that and do something positive. Continue to be safe. Continue to be sound. Continue to be healthy. And most importantly, above anything else, continue to be loved. Long live the peace. Long live the funk. More power to you. And as always, in parting company with you, my friends, always